Hi guys, Mark Dawes NFPS Limited, and I'm back again with another short video for you. And once again, this video is in response to an email question we've been asked by a really good guy. He's a very experienced trainer, he's a very experienced door supervisor, and he's been on a few training courses with us, and he's obviously watched the videos, and he's come in with a particular question which is in relation to lone working. So what I've done is I'm going to read his question for you and then also read my response, so you get a real feel for what this is, because I'm sure that what Graham has asked is going to be of interest to a number of you out there. So here's the question. It says, "Hi Mark, I've recently watched your videos and a question has come to mind. On certain shifts on the door I work alone. Now I know this is not illegal, but is there any extra training or any extra procedures that need to be put in place in this given situation? Being on the door alone can sometimes be quite a challenge. And what can I do or not do according to the legislation? Because as a lone worker, can I remove someone on my own? Can I challenge someone on my own? Can I approach someone on my own? Due to the needing of the 2 person or more policy. I look forward to your response. Thanks ever so much." Well, in response to that, I've answered this as follows. I've said, in answer to your question, yes, you can remove someone on your own, and yes, you can approach someone and you can challenge them on your own. But there should be a limit as to how far you should be expected to go to do that. For example, you could remove someone who is posing little or no threat of violence and who to a degree is compliant. And I'm sure that you've done that many times with little or no threat or risk to yourself or others. And this is basically what the Security Industry Authority Physical Intervention Training Program will allow for. However, if you are presented with someone who is uncooperative and who is not complying and who is likely to physically resist your attempt to remove them, then you should not be expected to remove them on your own, especially if your attempt is likely to cause them to escalate the situation into one of physical violence. This type of situation falls outside the scope of what the SIA approved physical intervention training program will allow for, and if door staff are to be expected to deal with this, then they would need additional top-up training to allow them to do so. In short, common and criminal law does not stipulate how many staff should be on the door. So generally speaking, you can approach people, challenge them, ask them to leave and even remove them, providing that it's safe to do so. And that there is little or no chance of the situation escalating into one of physical violence. However, what health and safety legislation does stipulate is that where there is a foreseeable risk, then that risk should be assessed and suitable and sufficient control measures put in place to eliminate or to reduce that risk. So, if you had 2 or more people fighting in a venue, for example, how could one door supervisor be expected to control that on their own? In addition, the venue owner also has a legal obligation under the Occupiers Liability Act 1957 to ensure that the premises that subcontracted staff and the public are invited into are reasonably safe. And there is the recent case of the police officer who is actually suing a garage owner because they injured themselves on the garage premises whilst responding to a 999 call for assistance. And I've put a link to the blog post to that particular case underneath this video for you to have a look at, so you can refer to that. Also, below this video I put a link to the HSE website and particularly their booklet on lone working, which should answer a lot of the questions for those of you watching this video in relation to what you can and can't do with regard to lone working. Well, I hope that helps, and if you have any other questions on any other aspect of health and safety or risk management or in particular violence at work, drop me an email. I'll be delighted to help. I mean, in short summary, basically everyone has a responsibility for the health, safety and welfare of all people on their premises, whether they're employed, self-employed, subcontracted, even voluntary and charity workers, and that duty of care cannot be taken away or eliminated by condition of contract, and we've covered that on previous videos for you, so please go back and have a look at them if need be. The fact of the matter is, if you work alone or in isolation, then you are considered to be a lone worker, and if there is a risk to you working alone, then the employer has to undertake a risk assessment and they have to put control measures in place to eliminate or reduce that risk to a reasonable standard. That is what is expected, and if you are a door supervisor or a door supervisor trainer watching this, then it is really imperative that you make it clear to the staff that you're training that restraining on your own is not a good idea. It carries an inherent degree of risk And if people get injured on someone's premises because someone has allowed that to happen, then the venue owner, for starters, is liable under the Occupiers Liability Act for subcontracting staff and allowing them to do that. And there are a whole host and plethora of other issues there in terms of negligence that people could be sued for and injuries that people could be sued for. And if someone dies because of gross negligence, then there is a corporate manslaughter case potentially coming their way. Well, anyway, that's enough information for now, and I'll see you on the next video. But like I said, please drop us a line, drop us an email, and if this video has helped, if you found this information useful, share it please with your friends. I mean, share it on Facebook, share it on Twitter, kick it out there. Let's start raising the bar. Let's start reducing the risk. Thanks for listening.